There's only one way to say this. You messed up. You blew it. You goofed.
Jedi Bob, that's like 3 different ways.
Joe Deckelmeyer, Screen Rant. First of all, what's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good, man. Really happy to talk to you.
Look, this is the perfect way to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Lego and Star Wars together. And this is a fantastic multiverse story. And it has a lot more heart than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be all jokes, but it has a ton of heart in it. Were all the Star Wars characters free for you guys to use? And were there any characters on the table that you wanted to use but didn't get a chance to?
No, that's a great question. And, the truth is everything was available to us. And obviously there are a lot of great characters that are missing from this set of episodes, but that's only because there's only so much we can do in 4 22-minute episodes. And so you look at our early drafts of this, we're coming in way too long because we just wanted to get everything in there. And we had to make some hard cuts, but yeah, those cuts came from us. And yeah, I think it sort of came down to what is the most essential stuff that we need to tell this story. And it was tough. It was tough.
Eventually, they had to say, guys, we got to cut you off. You gotta stop writing. It's over. And we said, okay, you're right. So it was very difficult to choose. There were some tough omissions that, I still sometimes in the dead of night, I'm like, oh, that would have been funny. But I think that in anything that is referential to sort of the larger canon of work, I also think that you have to be cognizant that it can't just be like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme of
sure.
I think there's a certain amount of that's fun, but I think that it also has to service the greater story and sort of the greater thematic point of the piece, and that really was clarifying in, as Benji said, what got to stay and what we were able to kind of let go over time.
After watching this, I became a huge fan of Jedi Bob. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it true that Jedi Bob's name really came from the fans and it was a generic Lego Jedi that they just named Bob?
Yes. In the old Republic gunship set from, I want to say, 2003, I think is when it came out. Maybe 2004. It was just Jedi Knight. And it didn't even line up with anyone in that scene. And so, the fans took it upon themselves to make that random minifig into something kind of legendary, and it became hard to get. And it became a collector's item in and of itself, where just that minifig would cost $100 to get. And so I'm a longtime Lego geek, and so I've known about all this stuff going way back as just a fan in the community. And so when we first started working on this, I said, well, obviously, if we're mashing up the entire Lego Star Wars galaxy, the Jedi Knight has to be Jedi Bob. And that was definitely met with some, wait, who?
It wasn't as obvious as he thought, I would say.
And so, but to Lucasfilm and Lego's credit, once I explained it to everyone, everyone was on board with the idea. This whole special is a love letter to the Lego Star Wars fans, and what better way than giving them the Return of Jedi Bob.
And I have to say, Bobby Moynihan's performance as Jedi Bob is just beyond our wildest expectations, and I think that's because, first of all, Bobby is one of the funniest living people. But second of all, Bobby is a huge Star Wars fan, and even to the extent where we said, well, there's this character, Jedi Bob, he's kind of obscure, and he reached into his pocket and he took out his own Jedi Bob that he already had. He said, you mean this character? And he already knew. And in fact, Bobby brought his original Jedi Bob minifig into the recording booth for every session as kind of a good luck charm. And I think that really is emblematic of the passion that everybody on this project felt and the actual love for Star Wars and Lego that we were all kind of swimming in the entire time we were making this show.
That is the coolest story I have heard. That is incredible. Now, I'm a big Lego fan and I'm a big Star Wars fan. This felt as if I were picking up Legos and playing out my own adventure, except you guys did it way better. Now, there's a lot of things in the fandom that were either teased or rumored by fans. Did that help shape your decision on where some of these characters were going to go when the galaxy was rebuilt?
100%. I think that one of the, Benji and I have been, I'll confess, we're dorks, we're nerds, we're geeks, whatever you want to call it. That's us. And so we have been extremely versed in all things Star Wars for decades. And I think that includes the canonical movies, then the shows, but I would also expand that to include what was formerly called the EU, now the Legends books, like the comic books, the Marvel comics, everything that was Star Wars was something that we were consuming. Some of us can't ride bikes. Some of us did study the Star Wars Encyclopedia as a kid. So when we would look at the internet, we would see what people were buzzing about, what people were excited about. I think that Darth Jar Jar is probably the most clear example of that, where we also got excited by this theory and thought it was so interesting and so funny and just such and really to say, gosh, can you imagine if that were true?
There was also the Lego geek in me also had the distinct honor of being able to think, well, what do I want a Lego minifig of? And so, things like, well, I want a Darth Jar Jar minifig. I want a Darth Rey minifig. I want the redeemed Jedi Vader minifig. And so for us to be able to make those decisions of being like, well, that they're in the show now. And so, yeah, it was the coolest instance of playing with my toys ever.
We tried to really put something in for everyone at every stage of their Star Wars experience and their Lego experience, whether you are a complete newcomer to both, and this is your first experience with Star Wars and Lego, or whether you are someone that has been absolutely studying this like a professor for decades and decades. Even the name of the planet, Phanessa, comes from one of the old Star Wars tabletop role-playing game material, and it's a deep
cut.
So we really tried to like kind of poke around for what can we bring into this that's going to make everyone feel seen and sort of included in the fun of what we're trying to accomplish.
That's incredible. I can talk to you guys about this all day, but I do have a big question for you. Jedi Bob, Sig and Dev, Yessi, Servo, and an Ewok bounty hunter. Which one has the best chances of making it to the live action Star Wars canon? And which would you personally like to see in the live action canon first?
Oh, man.
That's a great question. I think it's Servo.
Hey, Smiling Friends fan, I would love it.
I think Michael Cusack is one of the most talented people that we know. We worked with him on our show Koala Man. We've become close friends with him. And when we set out to say, okay, what is our droid in this show? We said, you know what? It's got to be an Australian gonk droid. The choice is clear. There's only one choice. And Michael is the most tremendous voice actor. We literally, they told us we had to stop sending alt takes of Michael at a certain point because there was too much. He just can't stop once he gets going, which is a great benefit to us because we now have our choice of what to use. And I don't know if you saw in the third episode where he kind of talks over the opening credits and he goes, "You're watching Star Wars?" And I still can't believe that we got to do that. But to me, Servo is the one that I think could really jump over to the mainline series and be an amazing part of the Star Wars legacy.
I love that. Well, look, thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I think this is the perfect thing for anybody, like you said, at any level as a Star Wars fan. And the story is fantastic. So I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. We really appreciate it.
Take care.
You are a scruffy-looking Nerf herder. We all are.
I prefer Nerf handler.